Hello, everybody. Welcome to the last race of the tournament. This is Hybrid Major Glitches. This has been a fantastic tournament throughout the summer. I hope you enjoy the final game. I'm joined by Tajso in the booth. How are you doing?
Doing good. It is kind of bittersweet that this is kind of the end of this tournament.
Agree. I've been using that word a lot in the last week or two, but it has been a very good one. I'm so glad to see this one go to game 3. First 2 games went rather one-sided, both of them due to runners skipping a location. So hopefully we'll see something a little bit more diverse in this game 3.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that comes down to what choices do you make through it. I mean, there's always something you have to skip if you're trying to get through it. And in game 1, it was Lumberjack that held. What did Lumberjack hold?
So game 1 was Spike Cave that Krithel just accidentally skipped. And then prdwong hard skipped Lumberjack because he just doesn't do Lumberjack. So that cost him the race. But both of them looked like they were neck and neck for a while, going into various covering each other's steps in various ways at around the same time, and it was a lot of bookkeeping at the beginning of who's ahead and who's done what checks. Hopefully we get to see more of that today. So throughout this tournament, we've seen a lot of runners come very far from some of them had actually never played glitch modes before. One of them made it all the way to semifinals. Krithel is relatively new. He learned glitch modes this year and the Overworld Glitches Mentor Tournament. prdwong has been doing glitch modes for a much longer time. But this goes to show that, you don't have to be a 3 years experienced glitch runner to rocket skyward to a place like this. And both of these runners will be going much farther after the tournament, so keep an eye on them.
Yeah. Hell, even those of us who have years and years of experience at this aren't as good as some of these people are in terms of playing these seeds.
Yeah, that's why we're in the booth.
Yeah.
All right. Krithel's with the book. prdwong's right behind him. Just, they're actually just a little bit out of sync, but that'll be fixed shortly. So prdwong likes to blind check the hobo using the out-of-bounds fake flipper method. Krithel likes to check the island first and then do hobo using a clip. Mm-hmm. He has decided the RNG is not friendly to him, so he's just going to go up and do Sahasrah's Closet again. Very adaptive play. We already got a map check with a pendant at Eastern and a green pendant at Desert.
Yeah, these openers are usually pretty important in terms of which direction you try to go. A lot of people have different philosophies, whether South Shore is good to hit relatively early or putting off Kakariko. And even like this tournament, we've seen a lot of people adapt earlier hobo plays than ever before, thanks to just new knowledge and how to perform some of these clips.
I really like Krithel's using the RNG to decide whether he does Sahasrah or hobo first, because it doesn't matter which one you do first. And he says, I get bad RNG, I go to Sahasrah first. If I get good RNG, I go to hobo first. And that makes a ton of sense. And I hadn't actually thought about doing it that way before. And you can see the benefit of that already. He doesn't have to fight the guard, except now he does. Oh no. No, you don't have to save and quit and kill him. There you go.
Yeah, we are still without any sort of a weapon yet, so combat is more of just dodging and throwing things.
There you go. You get in, put it in the clip. It's a very fast clip. So even though he had a little trouble with the guard, he didn't really lose any time to prdwong. You can see they're finishing their checks at roughly the same time. Saving and quitting in sync.
So a lot of stuff is open to us from the start here, just thanks to having boots. And we're really able to go just about anywhere in the overworld. So it's really interesting to see which areas runners try to prioritize versus when you're going for like your first bombs or first weapons and all that stuff.
Finding a lot of early Kakariko Desert fetch quest items that might influence their route. I know prdwong likes to do desert or Kak Desert early. Krithel likes to adapt. I think he usually goes for mountain by default. But depending on what he finds, he might turn around and go to Kakariko instead.
Yeah, as far as these fetch quests in Kakariko, we're really only missing powder in terms of being able to get most things there.
Yeah, the other item that they could find that would help them is the glove. Because the glove would open up Checkerboard Cave when they're in the desert area. There's also a shovel, but yeah, it's a shovel.
Yeah, that's close enough to Link's house that it doesn't matter too much.
Usually you can mirror to it when you're in the area. Or you just never find it at all.
Well, with finding Cane of Samaria in the Lost Woods, that's our first real weapon, but we still don't have any magic to use it. And actually, that would be interesting if we find Mushroom anywhere around here. As we can just go ahead and fake powder the powder bat right away.
prdwong is opting to get 2 bombs for Kakariko. 2 bombs means you can do Well and Blind's Hut without dipping into the bomb shop, and if you don't find any bombs there, then your next checks are pretty close to the bomb shop, so you don't lose that much time. Krithel is...
It's unlikely that you're not going to find other bombs or enough rupees to pay both the bottle merchant and buy some more.
Krithel's going to make his own luck by going up the mountain, and from the mountain he can get bombs if he descends to Graveyard Ledge. Already red mail in Kakariko Village. Red mail is a blessing and a curse. It will make the mountain safer when prdwong goes, but at the same time, if he has to death warp to get Link State in the Dark World, for example, he's going to have a bit of a slower time of it.
Or even just death warping back to the start of a dungeon for some quicker routing. You'd have to kind of plan your damage along the way if you're wanting to go that route.
Krithel is seeing the benefit of blue mail. He's only gone down 1 heart instead of 2 from getting hit by the dead rock twice. It's going for the mountain, climbing up to Hera this time. He doesn't have a way to hit the switch. He knows it, so he backs out. I think he wants to get that early Ether Tablet knowledge. There's a benefit to checking Ether Tablet before you have the swords. Usually it's junk, and you save time if you don't have to go through the animation.
Meanwhile, we did stumble across a bow and powder inside Kakariko Well, so that does unlock the powder bat. We can fake powder that.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
Convenient that the cane was in the woods, because so many times you find the powder early, but you don't have an opportunity to get magic when you're in Kakariko because there's no combat here.
Yeah, your only hopes are earlier tree pulls or being lucky with some drops.
Alright, Krithel is having a little trouble with the Graveyard Ledge descent in the last 2 games, but he gets it first try this time.
Goes for King's Tomb first, though, which is a little interesting, rather than going right for the bombs.
Makes me think he might be hoping for money, getting 1 more check-in before he does a descent. Because if he does Graveyard Descent for bombs, he might continue to South Shore and Orphan Zora if he doesn't have the money for it. Since he's already done everything that he would do from Link's house.
Meanwhile, Kak continues to be loaded, finding the pearl in the back of the tavern. So that pretty much unlocks all of the Dark World for us here.
Krithel is going to Kakariko as well, and also has to farm bombs because there weren't any on the mountain. He didn't get that many checks when he was there. He got 2 items. So it wasn't likely that he was going to find bombs, but it would have been nice.
Okay, so there's that fake powder from prdwong.
Just a heart.
Sitting pretty good on money right now, so South Shore would not be the worst thing after this whole Kakariko check. He's already done the bottle merchant and is just a little bit short of finding Zora. Could go up the mountain and try for some Houlihan stuff after a descent, just to ensure that first, though.
Between Desert and... yeah, he's so confident he's going to find money, he didn't even get the rubies in the library. So yeah, between Desert and the beginning of South Shore, it's very likely that you'll find some money on the way down.
I would go for these bombs, but prdwong is fine without them. He's got a bow. There's a lot of arrows in Desert, so combat shouldn't be too much of an issue here.
Very true. He needs 1 for Agina's Cave, so he'll be 1 when he has Mini Moldworm, if he goes there next. And that'll be his last bomb. And he doesn't need one for Ice Rod Cave if he knows the teleport to get in there. But at the same time, he's also just likely to find bombs on the way.
Mm-hmm.
I think Krithel only farmed 1 bomb when he was there. Oh no, he farmed 2 because he has 3. So both of them the same bomb farm meta. Now, prdwong's also grabbing magic, giving him the option to use the cane when he's in the Popo room.
Yeah, just being able to increase your options helps so much with what you can do when you don't have an unlimited source of damage like a sword or a hammer. But also having stunning items like the boomerang can help with that too. He's checking his stun prize. Ooh, and a nice full magic drop there from one of them. Oh, he didn't get it though.
No, dude. It's okay. That Rupee Pack enemy is very abundant. And I'll get more magic on the way. Like next time he goes to Mini Moldworm Cave, for example.
Yeah,
I'll almost certainly get a refill there.
Yeah, the prize packs do reset on a save and quit, and there's no reason for him to continue straight on from Desert here, so just killing any enemy from that Rupee Pack will grant him another full magic drop, so nothing to worry about there. Unfortunately for prdwong, there wasn't really much in deserts. I mean, it is essentially an extension of Kakariko for him, but it still is time used in exploring the dungeon, which I'm not sure if Krithel will make the same decision to explore desert as well.
I think he will. I think most people do. Especially it's a pendant, and you hope that you can... There's a bottle. You hope that you can get both items and just never come back. It is green, though, so there's always that question mark on the boss. I didn't count how many items they were finding, but I can pay attention to Krithel when he goes.
Mm-hmm. I know that they found the map, so...
Oh, I saw the compass. So there's an item on the boss.
All right.
Hey, by our powers combined, we can count items in dungeons.
Okay, so prdwong does decide to go up the mountain instead of hitting South Shore first.
Krithel is not opting to pick up magic. He's going to be bailed out by the Popos. He'll get the full magic as well and might pick it up. Assuming he doesn't get 3 coin flips. Oh, he might actually get 3 coin flips. That sucks.
Oh, it gets it on the last one.
Yeah, that one wasn't worth it. It was so far away. And he knows now that the rupee enemies will have magic, and he can just get that anytime he wants. And he has plenty of options available with the bow and the boomerang for stunning. He's going back. Yeah, we saw prdwong do this as well.
Yeah, this is to hit the big chest. Unfortunately, it only has the map, but just to finish out the dungeon for right now.
It will make Green Pendant a little bit less orphaned. If they're in there with the Mire when they're at Mire, it might be worth popping in and grabbing those 2 items. prdwong has better options when he goes to Hera. He's going to actually go to Graveyard Ledge instead, or King's Tomb. Probably Graveyard Ledge, and he can do South Shore. Yeah, he's going straight there. He's going to get the bombs and the money. He only has 1, so he's probably managing his bombs pretty closely, knowing that he's going to get more here.
Yeah, that explains a bit
convenient.
more. Yeah, it explains a bit more why he skipped the bombs at the race game, while he was only at 2 then, because he figured his routing was going to put him over here at Graveyard Ledge.
We're in an awkward situation too, where we have Eastern available and it's dependent. We might be seeing an early Eastern dip too, but with the Moon Pearl having already shown up, it's unlikely that we'll see it soon. The options they have in the Dark World are currently rather limited, so they're going to be exploring a little bit more Light World before they do anything else. As we see prdwong head to South Shore with plenty of money in his pocket. I think he even skipped the Houlihan rupees, if I'm not mistaken, by his rupee count.
Yeah, he didn't grab any, which is fine. As long as you don't grab a single one, those rupees will stay there. So if he does somehow need money later, then he can just go back there.
I can't imagine that. They have the Moon
Yeah.
Pearl. He's not even going to use potions, likely.
Yeah.
And red mail. Like, he doesn't need it for safety or for transportation.
Right. He even has enough to buy a blue potion at this point with the empty bottle he's got, while still paying Zora.
The mirror on the dam. It's a nice item to have, especially when you already have Moon Pearl, so mirrors and unlocking obnoxious Moon Pearl locations.
I wonder if it would actually be worthwhile to stop your checks there, then go through the Dark World and start using your mirror to go back and forth and try to chain things together a little better.
I'm not a fan of doing that. I feel like you lose more time than you gain, but I've never actually timed it. Because mirror transitions are very slow.
Yeah, especially if you don't know what quick warps you can hit nearby.
And then every time you do it, you go off and do some checks, and you have to walk back to your portal, and that takes time as well. I almost think at that point you might as well just walk to the area twice from your save and quit point. And doing Hype Cave into South Shore could be tempting, but then you have left behind the things that are to the west of Hype Cave, and that could be awkward to route back in. But again, as far as dungeons go, nothing has really been unlocked for our runners that they want to do.
Okay, we see prdwong setting up the water walk by dashing near the pit out the door.
Okay, Krithel has gotten his magic refill available in a very convenient location. So he'll be on full magic. For what it's worth. Their only magic item that matters is the cane, so it's not really a big deal. But it saves a little bit of time on boss refills, and maybe they'll find something like the fire rod that will be a better combat option. Bombos and Flute in the waterfall. Throws a bottle in for a fairy. The fairy's nice because they actually have the mirror, so they don't need to death warp anymore.
Yeah, death warps aren't a concern anymore yet.
I have a feeling we won't be seeing that fairy today.
Especially with red mail on us. Cane is a little interesting, just because it is an invincibility item.
Maybe we will see the fairy, because you could skip this and do Spike Cave with the fairy instead. Save a little time.
Yeah.
Maybe prdwong will go back and do that fancy little clip. No, you need the flippers for that. Yeah, he says no to the cane. He knows it's there, though, so he knows it's in logic, and that if Spike Cave is available, that it's in logic as well. It's not available, though, because you need the hammer and the glove.
Yeah, it's still a long ways off, although he still could have gotten the cane by using splash deletion and all that, but yeah.
I agree with him. It's not worth the time.
Yeah.
Especially having a bow.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the bow, you would get it for ice armos, and that's about it. Because it is a very good weapon for ice armos, locking the bow. So we're seeing our first glimpse at the Hera basement. It's basement cage is the map. And basement lobby, or lobby chest is the small key. So we have a Schrodinger's Hera. We don't know if it's fire locked or Mire locked. We might be expected to go to Hera basement and get the big key, or we might be expected to go to Mire and bring in a big key from another dungeon.
Yeah, that's one of those nice quirks of HMG where just Hera is an unknown until you actually look at it. It's not as simple as, oh, you have something to hit the switches and you have your fire source, you can clear it.
Krithel was thinking about it. The Splash Delete changes his mind.
Might not be worth the supplies at this point. Which
Well,
means you're probably never going back for it anyway.
He jumped and while in Water Walk and didn't set up a Splash Delete, so that would have kicked him out of the water.
Yeah.
So I think he realized that. It's like, you know, I don't really care about this anyway.
Okay, so we're getting our first glimpse at East Death Mountain here.
One benefit of the red mail is you can just tank these enemies in Spiral Cave and not worry about shooting them unless they're actually in your way. The Moldorm's usually not worth the time to kill if you're going to survive the trip anyway. The Baris at least are easy enough to hit. So Krithel is making his way to East Death Mountain, showing us that he might be hovering or going to... Perhaps, I was going to say Laser Bridge, but he's not setting up for the Mire app. So he is going to look at Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny Cave. Checking his map, I think I saw Mire as a pendant.
Mire was a pendant, and then our red crystals don't matter. We already have the Mire.
Yeah. Okay, so he's setting up his portal at the south before doing the mountain checks. So of course, he does Light Death Mountain first because he might find the hookshot and the glove, making the top of Dark Death Mountain a little bit faster.
Yeah, I think he left the portal down below just because when you complete Super Bunny Cave, you're up at the top. And then you're able to go right over to Catfish, I think, is the plan once we're done with the rest of Light World here.
Well, I was thinking he was leaving it below because he wants to do Hookshot Cave back to front.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a glove, and he's not expecting to find one here. And if he does find a glove, I'll just clip back up and jump down and do it normally. And then Spiral Cave will conveniently take him to the bottom of the mountain from here. So the route normally Spiral Cave sucks because prdwong fails the King's Tomb clip. So he gets down from the mountain and doesn't do the buffer up right, or the buffer up and then dash right correctly. So he lands above the rock instead of on top of it. It's not the most costly soft lock. He'll be able to try again. He's actually going up the mountain this time. Okay, keeping his camera locked. So what he's doing here is he's setting up his portal so that it is desynced with his position. So he looks like he's on the mountain, but if you were to press X on the map, it would show him to be at the pyramid instead. So when he plops his portal down here, it's going to be... Oh, nope.
Nope. We're going for a super drop.
Oh, he's making a liar of me. He is going to the Dark World. He's just going a very vertically oriented way. You'll see him drop down 8 times. This is still related to the desynced camera thing, or next time he transitions, because he's desynced his camera so many times, he's going to be at the bottom of the map. He will want to correct his camera here if he wants to continue, because everything is desynced. Krithel, doing what I said he would do, is he's going up to Hookshot Cave first, knowing that he wasn't likely to find a glove there, so he's going to have to clip up here through the back door. He's also committing to the hover by doing this, because if there's a hookshot in Super Bunny Cave, this route doesn't let you get it first. I did see him practicing this in the pre-game. This is a risky hover because it's easy to make it most of the way and then orphan a chest. And he has been known to bail on the last chest if he can't get the hovers. Not afraid to cut his losses in this cave, but he makes it to the first one. And that gets him 2 chests. It's, just an arrow here, and 1 more chest to hover to, and we'll be done.
Meanwhile, prdwong did find the mushroom in Hype Cave, but so far nothing else of note in the checks here.
Krithel has successfully cleared Hookshot Cave with hovering, and does not have to worry about these checks again. Didn't find anything for it, but peace of mind. We'll be going to Super Bunny next, and then making a decision to either go down to Catfish or to go down to Turtle Rock. So Quake was in Super Bunny Cave. That's another medallion for that dungeon we don't want to do. It is always a big question about Mire, because sometimes you find the medallion for Mire, and that might mean that you are supposed to go into Mire. But it also might mean that you're supposed to go into Mire just so you can unlock Swamp and Hera. So you don't want to read too much into that in terms of Mire having progression, and it doesn't even matter because Mire is Ether. It's the medallion we don't have. And we're hoping it stays that way.
Okay, it looks like that Krithel is going for more of a standard DMD to hit the Village of Outcast from the top.
He does have a weapon. Oh, yeah. He does have a weapon for blind. So he can do that dungeon if he wants to. Cane of Samaria unlocks that boss, but you will be going in without the hammer and not be able to kill and not be able to get the big chest if there's something in there. prdwong is going to be faced with that same decision very shortly.
We're actually fairly light in terms of what progression we have found. There's a whole bunch of various weapons that we're going to need to even finish this off. The fire rod, the ice rod, the hammer, the hook shot, and gloves even. Not to mention swords.
Yeah, the seed is giving them a lot of stuff that's tangential to progression, but not actually getting them anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like all these medallions they're finding, they can't even use them until they get a sword. First item in Skullwoods is 50 rupees. Krithel's going to grab the key and go. He also has the option to check pedestal here if he wanted to. Yeah, he's going to skip that. Can't blame him. No fire rod, so that's a pretty out of the way check. Oh, he's thinking about it. No, he's going to do it. He's going to mirror here. Ooh, mirroring in the Lost Woods is dumb. There's so much collision everywhere, and you can't predict where it's going to be. He was, what, 1 pixel into that? Really?
Nope,
are you
more
serious?
Than that. Oh, no.
Are you serious? I disagree. Oh, we have a flute from prdwong. I totally missed that he activated it.
Yeah,
and
he
Krithel
just mirrored
has it
in
too.
front of Thieves before doing it. I think he's just checking the potion shot to make sure it doesn't have hammer before dipping in.
That's right. That was in the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that he has that active. Wouldn't make sense not to activate it. You're as close as you're going to get to it and have a whole lot of checks left. And that is the dead ped for our seed. The book has not been very helpful to us except to kill the pedestal. It does mean that if, you know, we do end up going into Mire or Eastern, we won't have to worry about the boss if there's no item.
Well, Desert, not so much. That is still the Green Pendant dungeon.
It's funny that despite all the trouble mirroring, Krithel still manages to find a quick warp back to the Dark World. Alright, it's time to count items in Thieves Town. I have actually missed the first chest, but the second one was the map. I saw a map big key and small key for prdwong. I didn't see what was in the first chest, but...
I didn't either, but at that point, you know that there's a lot of stuff in the back.
Yeah, he's going to go for it anyway because his options are running rather dry. I think his best density play that he could do at this point is the castle with the Pyramid Fairy. Krithel's bomb was a little low for that setup. I think he could... There you go. That looks better.
And there's our second item out of Skullwood, so...
You know, it's funny that the dungeon that has a bug is the boss has the bug net in the big chest. I feel like that is what should have been the dungeon item for Skullwoods and not the fire rod.
Yeah, so you have to go and catch bees.
Oh, that would have been incredible. All right, ROM hackers, get on it. Let's go. I think between the runners, we've seen all of the classic Dark World. Really not much to show for it. It's been rather dry.
The only things left are your Pyramid Fairy and Pyramid Ledge.
Mm-hmm. Curious if Krithel decides to do Back of Thieves, because he has less information about the density of the overworld. Like, he hasn't done Hype Cave yet, but I think at this point you might feel like you have to. I don't think prdwong has done East Death Mountain. Am I correct?
He's done the... Did he do the Late World? I don't remember if he did or not. Didn't we find a boomerang back there?
Oh, if we did, then he has, because he has
Yeah.
both. I think I saw a rupee from Krithel, or something blue came out of that chest, although that could be the compass. Let's look at prdwong's. It's an item here. I have not been doing my homework. I didn't see what was in attic. He has to go back the long way because he doesn't have a glove. So not only is Thieves Town terrible because you don't have a good weapon for blind and you don't have the hammer, but you also are missing the glove, and we'll have to go the long way around, both there and back.
prdwong also has to be careful with magic here. There is a script for the blind fight with Samaria, but if you're not familiar with it, you could wind up spending a few extra blocks than you're used to.
Oh, you're not kidding. He's
Yeah.
kind of low. And that full magic that Krithel picked up earlier might be the difference. Now, Cane of Samaria doesn't use that much, but as you can see, once it takes a couple hits from blind, including the heads, it does despawn.
Yeah, once it collides 5 times with the sprite, it despawns. And it so happens that Blind's head kind of lingers there, so it winds up hitting multiple times very quickly.
This is extremely sketchy, but I know the Cane doesn't use that much.
He's got enough for 2 more blocks here, but he's got to be careful. He's got to get 2 hits off this last block.
Oh, no,
Oh, no!
He has a blue potion!
Oh!
I didn't know that.
I know he bought one, but yeah.
Wow, that is, I want to say, the most reward you can get from a blue potion.
Yeah, especially considering that's a sword.
Yes. What does that even do for us? Sword is great, but for what? Like, Bombos does open up one chest in Ice Palace, and that is the Freezor chest, but
we don't have access.
we don't have
to Ice Palace.
access. Yeah,
we
like,
don't
it doesn't
we don't have
do
gloves
anything.
or flippers, so that
we don't even have
help.
the Mire medallion, so it's not that either. The TR medallion for some logical front door access, perhaps. That's the only thing I can think of, but we don't have a fire rod, so that's one check too. He's probably not happy to have to use the blue potion, but I think at the same time he might have spent more time farming for magic if he was worried, because these crickets upstairs do drop magic. And if he's been paying attention, he'll know that. I'm worried about Krithel's health. I don't know
we
if
do
he
have
got the
powder. Oh, yeah. Well, there goes. Well, there's still the bunny beam under the pot in the prison, and that would probably be the best chance to refill back on health there.
I didn't catch if Krithel threw his bottle into the waterfall fairy, because he might have a fairy in his bottle. prdwong has decided to not get screwed by Lumberjack this time and checked it with the mirror when he's here. Last time he hard skipped it, and he had the mirror in the area and just decided not to. He said, if it's something there, I'm already skipping it. Might as well keep skipping it.
All right, so here we go with Krithel going through the prison. Picking up a couple of heart pots. and bypassing the bunny beams, so this is the most amount of health we're going to have for the blind fight. Although I guess Krithel might have also skipped the heart pot next to the key in the hallway.
He got one of them.
Boss room.
Oh, that one? Yeah.
Yeah.
If he has 4 hearts, he'll be fine. He has red mail, so he can get hit by blind and not take 2 hits, 2 hearts of damage. Gets his cane out, gets the heart.
Alright, there we go.
prdwong doing Skullwoods as well. He's found very little in the Dark World. He probably has no choice, or at least feels like he doesn't. Taking a different route, deciding that if the first chest is not an item or a key, that dropping down here is relatively safe. It's really unlikely that you're going to get key locked at this point because you've already opened one of the chests that can be a key and it wasn't. I think that it's a bit of a more efficient route, and you've already checked Bumper Ledge and you're going to save and quit out of Skullwoods. He doesn't have to backtrack. Krithel's magic is now a little bit sketchy.
Actually, the health is more sketchy. We're
Oh,
down
yeah.
to 1 heart, but we're good.
I think he might have had if he had the fairy, he's playing like he has a fairy. I like to think he does. I don't think he would be this aggressive if he didn't. Or he's just that confident. prdwong will be the first one to show us new checks if he doesn't just go to somewhere Krithel's already been.
Which would be East Dark World Death Mountain.
Yeah, and that's what that looks like.
Not necessarily. This could be
Pyramid
some
Fairy?
sort of... Pyramid Fairy could also be some
Nope.
weird GT check.
Oh, this is another descent. He missed King's Tomb last time.
Yeah, that's right.
He's coming back for it. He doesn't want to get screwed by Sphere 1. Chat is informing us that Krithel does have a fairy. We saw it in the quick swap.
Oh, interesting. Oh, no. This could still be GT.
It could be. GT is terrible, though. All he can do is Tile Room, Hope Room, and Torch.
Well, sometimes you got to make those kind of decisions, though. Oh, we're going back.
Pyramid
it's Pyramid Fairy.
Yeah,
All
that's what I thought. Pyramid Fairy is just the most dense thing he can do right now. He's had that Mire for a long time. He's fluting away. The flute makes it very fast. You can just flute to 4 and not lose your portal. Don't have to mess around with Death Warps or Death Mountain Descents.
Or any kind of river clipping or moat clipping or super jumps that way.
One of the runners soft lock river clipping one of the last races. You can see there's a little bit less risk to fluting than there is to doing fancy glitches to get here. Getting a green potion this time. A green potion just as good as the blue one, and when it's magic you need. And that did save his life in the blind fight.
That and all the health that we have with red mail at this point.
He is going for the uncle, saying no to the heart. He has plenty of health at this point. Not worth the animation. And Krithel saves and quits out of Hype Cave.
Probably going to be doing the same thing, I imagine.
Yeah, if he's not doing that, it's Laser Bridge or Ganon's Tower. I can't imagine going to either of those, being Ganon's Tower being 4 checks and Laser Bridge being out of logic without the lamp.
And possibly Fire Rod.
But I was thinking Laser Bridge because you need the lamp to get through the dark room.
Well, I was thinking Fire Rod because you're going to need that big key and it could be in the
oh, yeah.
room.
Oh, you mean on both. Yeah.
Yeah.
Laser Bridge is doubly out of logic.
Mm-hmm.
Krithel did not activate his flute, or is just choosing to take this route?
I did not see a mirror anywhere while in Village of Outcasts, so I'm pretty sure Krithel has not activated the flute.
It's easy to not pay attention to the flute or just not bother with it when you're playing glitched because you don't need one.
It does speed enough things up that it can be worth it, though. which
For
is
him-
what prdwong is trying to show here.
I think for him, the biggest benefit would be checking Mushroom, because I don't think he's done that yet. Also, it looks like River Clip that Krithel did might be faster than what prdwong did. That looked very efficient. And he's taking the speedrun route by going through the right side. It's just slightly closer to where you end up when you screen transition.
Yeah, you're just to the right of the central door that leads to Aghanim's tower.
I think the downside to going that way is that when you mirror out, you're not in an optimal place to drop down to your portal because the parapets don't have a drop down there. You have to go all the way to the bottom. So in Rando, you might want to go left instead.
Well,
just for that reason.
It depends where you want to go for Uncle, because if you're going to go down those parapets anyway, I don't know. There's a lot of different little things to go along with it.
The parapets on the right side are at the bottom of the screen, and the parapets on the left side are at the top. And that's the main difference.
I think it depends if you really want to go through Dark World stuff afterward or not.
That's true. Because you could do Pyramid Fairy first and then Mirror to Uncle like prdwong did, or you could do Uncle first.
Yeah.
I don't see much for either runner to do from Pyramid Fairy in the Dark World unless they find a hammer here. prdwong is in Dark Cross.
So we haven't found the small key yet, and we don't have it yet. So
it's glove locked.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have the opportunity to set up a key rat steal unless we double dip this just to unlock the door, which puts us in an awkward position of having to check Mire, or having to get the Mire medallion to go into Swamp, or having to manage your Hera keys carefully. And with Hera being completely locked to us at the moment, we can't even do that. And it's not looking promising since we already found the map of Hera. It's not looking like we're necessarily going to find both items and also have a key to spare. It could happen, but we're not ready for that yet.
prdwong is getting really bullied by these mold worms.
Yeah, he's in here. He's going to pod. This is a diagonal wall you can clip through, and it takes you to pod. So this is what I mean by having to walk over here to drop the parapets. That's why I think that the right door is optional, or the left door is optimal in Rando, and the right door is optimal in speedrunning. But that's just conjecture. They're still pretty even up on checks, where prdwong hasn't done Dark Death Mountain yet, and Krithel is lagging a little bit behind in the stuff prdwong has done. Krithel does have knowledge that Pedestal is dead, but that probably doesn't matter as much with Mire being locked out.
Especially since we're missing so much other in terms of so many other items in terms of progression.
Pod being bow locked is interesting too, because we do have the bow, and that might be what's pointing us towards progression. Because you think, oh, bow for Eastern, but Eastern bow doesn't do anything until you also have fire. But pod bow does unlock part of this dungeon.
Then it could also be just Sphere 1 Eastern stuff. And I'm wondering if maybe doing Eastern first. It's kind of hard to tell because you got that extra mirror transition going between the fake worlds. But there's our Aether Medallion for Mire.
Oh, so fireless Mire is an option now. We can use Mire to get to Hera. One small mercy is at least you get to skip the Belloc side of pod because it's 2 keys. And we've opened a free door in Cave State, allowing us to skip one of the keys, and the other key we can skip by hammer jumping. It's a unique pod route you can take in Hybrid because of that extra door you unlock. So you essentially get an extra key to burn. I wonder if... Go ahead.
Krithel opted to go to Laser Bridge rather than go for any sort of pod Eastern combo with that bow.
I wonder if he's waiting for a lamp or a hammer. Because if he has a lamp, he can basement clip. If he has the hammer, you can just do pod.
Mm-hmm.
And pod is also unappealing because it leads you to Eastern. I don't think anybody wants to do Eastern. Especially knowing that Ped's dead. Although knowing that Ped's dead helps because you can at least skip the boss if it's not an item.
Getting another potion, though. And the crystal roller.
Yeah, his runners are nothing if not healthy. Like, at least they're not going to die, right?
Though we have come close.
I think it would be fun to see a required fireless Mire in the seed. When you have to do Mire to Swamp or Mire to Hera, you don't have fire. It requires a clip into the other wall because when you move the wall, it opens up the bomb clip option, but when you can't move the wall, you have to clip into the other wall, and that's going to be some kind of one-frame clip. With the new dash clip setup, it's not going to be hard for either of the runners. Both of them are very familiar with it.
Either that or just basic citrus clipping gets you through.
Yeah. But at the same time, you're still doing Mire without fire and potentially leaving items inside. So from a routing perspective, it's rather scary.
It's also getting those items in Hera and Swamp out of logic because you do actually need that fire source to move the wall. Or actually, no.
The wall isn't required.
Yeah, the wall isn't required on that. It's only if it was something on Vidi.
Yeah, so we were supposed to have the 3 keys to unlock Swamp. But you only need the big key to unlock Hera, so it could still be Hera, even if you don't have the key for Swamp. And Swamp's out of logic without the flippers anyway, so we're really looking at potentially fire sources locked upstairs and Hera as a potential roadblock for our runners. And there's our fire source. The lamp is in Eastern, so if Krithel goes to pod, he'll get the lamp and have the option to basement clip. I don't know if he'll go for that, given that you have to like mirror back and do it. I don't think it would be worth it. You would just go back when it's in logic later, since it's just Helmasaur.
The only reason you would want to do basement clip is if you did Eastern first and found the lamp that way.
And you would do that if it was a crystal. I don't see Krithel doing that. He is going to pod, though, so we'll see shortly which one he does. Yeah, so when he does this clip, he goes for the insta-clip first, where you set up on a pixel and dash, but if he misses it, he'll quickly pivot into the other method. So he doesn't get bullied by the Moldorms as prdwong did. They stayed out of his way. That's very good. But Fire Source is good, though, because it means that you can go into Mire without feeling too bad about it.
Granted, the lighting the torches with lamp is very slow.
It is so bad. I almost died doing it in the last race I did.
Okay, so no Eastern first out of Krithel.
I wonder if he finds the ether, that'll change his mind, but I don't think so. I think he'll just do all of pod. I don't think he has basement clip on the mind anymore. I think he just has density.
Okay, so interestingly, we did find all 3 items out of Eastern on prdwong's side, but since he doesn't have that pedestal knowledge, he is going for the boss.
So, the time that Krithel spent checking ped, he gets it back by not doing this. So that's already paying off for him, as long as he checks his items.
Yeah, even including the couple of mirror bonks and not really mirroring in the right spot initially.
Mirroring in the Lost Woods is so terrible. Mirroring out of the Lost Woods and inverted is even worse. Okay, and there's the pendant for prdwong. Very dead check from our perspective, but from him, it's a play of I only found the lamp in ether and I don't want to do this. I'm going to a pendant dungeon next. Might as well get this pendant too. And I think he's actually having Ped blind pull in mind because he can go to Mire and do Mire, get the Vidi crystal or the Vidi pendant and do desert and get the item there.
Yeah, I think we're going to see another super drop out of him, actually, just to do that. Oh, but gets dead knocked.
Double dead. That sucks. Both of them just in his way.
Okay, never mind. It's not going to be a super drop. As we're correcting the Hera camera here.
He still has, well, I was thinking East Death Mountain. I don't think he hovers. Or if he does, he doesn't prefer it.
This could just be Super Bunny and Catfish and peace out from there.
Yeah. Oh, Krithel, no. He needs to make this. Wait, how has he not lost his bridge yet?
Because he came from the top.
He's on the wrong tile. Oh no. Krithel.
Now he's got to reset the super tile using stairs.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Maybe he's not used to doing this from the top, or just got thrown off by something. The patterns on the floor and the wall repeat themselves, so it's easy to accidentally line up on the wrong one and look like you're in the right place. This looks good, though. prdwong is completely skipping on Hookshot Cave. Doesn't want to do the clip just for one item. I can't blame you for that.
He's going to go ahead and open up Turtle
Okay, good.
Rock.
He was about to soft lock.
Yeah.
he corrected himself. He was on the wrong bump for a second. Opening up Turtle Rock opens up the option to do Turtle Rock into Skullwood's map wrap if he gets the fire rod later.
I mean, that's actually probably the best way to do this, because you're not going to go back to Skull Woods. You've already gotten both items out of it, and so you'll finish Turtle Rock and then immediately go over, finish off Skull Woods for your last couple of crystals or something like that.
When Krithel was in Turtle Rock, did we see a big key?
I did not see it, but there... Yeah, I don't think we got it. Otherwise, we might have seen...
He did, okay.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Our tracker, Samamis, is telling us that he got the big key. Because if he didn't, that meant it was fire locked, and prdwong will have a better option to drop in and get it from the front door. And Krithel would have to open up TR as well to do that. But
okay, so prdwong is abandoning Catfish here for the moment.
Yeah, he's going for Laser Bridge or a GT, one of the two. This is Laser Bridge, going for mirrorless wrap because it's closer. You can mirror wrap if you know the old setup. He probably does, but I think he probably hasn't practiced it in a while by just spin clipping onto the bridge. The old setup is a little finicky, and a lot of people practice this because it's really good to have a way to laser bridge without the mirror. Now, what he's doing here is in logic now because he has the lamp, so the logic expects him to go in through the middle and go forward.
Was he too low?
He was too low. What?
Oh,
huh.
No.
That's not... I guess that's a missed quick hop failure.
Yeah, it looked like that he held down into the ledge and he didn't quick hop it.
Yeah, when you miss the quick hop, you land on the wrong part of the ledge and you get soft locked there. Unfortunate.
I think he could have gotten out that if he was holding a diagonal when going into the ledge.
Interesting.
Although I don't know if that messes up the quick hop if you're holding diagonal there.
So Krithel will save a little time in here getting the last item, skipping the boss. prdwong is going back for the mirror wrap.
Yeah, the mirror wrap is much safer.
Yeah, it's easier. I mean, it's definitely from this direction. It's faster as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's doing the old setup after all. Why didn't he just do that first? That would have been optimal.
I think it might have been just because
Krithel.
the
Thank you.
Okay. I think it might have been just because the way that he goes up the Turtle Rock ledge that using the ledge to actually jump to the transition rather than trying to find it when coming from the right anyway.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I remember that. It's funny because I only do the old method when I fail that part now, so I always have to land it manually. But that's true, you could just use the ledge. Okay, Krithel is going to use a clip to get the mushroom turn in, so the thing that the flute would have benefited him the most is now being taken care of elsewhere. And he's opting not to go back into pod, just a basement clip. I can't blame you for that.
Yeah.
I don't think that would be the correct play, unless you're just trying to show off. I don't think it even saves time over just coming back with the hammer later. I mean, it does technically if you're Yuzuhara and really fast at it, but in a grand finals match, you don't bet on that. That's something you do in a PB attempt.
Or on game 2 or something.
Yeah, where you're up a game. Yes. Retracing steps for prdwong, but Krithel is going somewhere we haven't been yet. So where is that going to be? He's going to Ganon's tower. Unless he's super
it's
drop
either
Mire.
that or Mire.
No, this is super drop Mire. You're right. He does this.
Yeah, it's either super drop to Mire or Ganon's tower.
Nope.
This is Ganon's tower.
Oh, we're wrong.
Okay.
Wow. I was wrong and then wrong and then wrong.
So many things require wrapping on Death Mountain and then keeping that in Dark World that it's hard to know which one it is until you get to this part of the screen down here.
Mire would have, I was thinking Mire because you got the lamp and the medallion. But
then you can get your swamp unlocking out of the way early.
I'm almost thinking that he might plan on doing the oh my god, the fire rod's here. I was gonna say skip the fire rod and do the lamp right side GT because that is something he also is comfortable doing. But now he doesn't need to because the fire rod was just here the whole time. That's disgusting. So this was a YOLO GT seed if you wanted to skip that whole Eastern play. I can't imagine either runner feeling very good about the seed right now.
No.
But I also wonder if they feel like their opponent is having the same troubles. It's hard when you're racing somebody who you know is really good at the game. It's hard to imagine that they're having any trouble with the seed until you see yourself win, and then you're like, okay, what did they do? So GT also had a glove, and glove opens up Ice Palace, but we're still missing hammer, so it doesn't do anything yet, but we do need it.
Well, it opens up Ice Palace, like, not really. We need a second one to be able to get there logically.
Yeah, or flippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of what I meant by opens up Ice Palace is it's required for Ice Palace later, and this is sword here too. Wow. So he needed the lamp to have the confidence to go here. Knowing that I think prdwong's doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Thinking, oh, I have the lamp now. Nope, he's not. He's going to Mire. I was wrong in the other direction this time. Okay. One of them went to one place and one of them went to the other. After all this, we're still looking for a hook shot and an ice rod and a hammer and a flippers. No matter how loaded GT is, it would have to have all four of those things for Krithel to be in go mode. So prdwong could still find something on this path, and he's taking the speedrun way to Mire, where you super drop and then blindly navigate to the front. And since he already checked the medallion, he'll be able to open it. If we're lucky, we'll get a nice scrolling screen.
Actually, I don't know.
Lost.
That doesn't really fix your camera there.
No, he's checking where he is on the map, I think. I hate Mire super drop for this reason. If you don't practice it a lot, this will happen. You'll just get lost. It's so hard.
We do get the screen scroll, though, with the long lightning bolt.
There's a sword here in Armos room as well.
But no big key.
Krithel is locked out of Ganon's tower. Which is probably fine. He would have had to hover if he climbed, and that would have sucked, too. He probably would have gone for it, since he was able to do the hookshot hover. Some hovers will often do hookshot cave just to test if they're ready to do GT hover.
Even though it is a shorter hover.
prdwong is changing his mind about mirroring here. Wonder why. Oh, because he doesn't have a glove. He's like, wait, I actually have to... He could clip in, but he wouldn't be able to get out, so he has to mirror here to get to back of desert. This is another place where Flute could benefit him because he can turn in the green pendant much easier than Krithel can. Krithel will want to wait for the hammer to do pod. Or commit to the basement clip, which I can't imagine going back to pod just to do that. Unless you know that there's a last location hammer on green pendant or something. Krithel is going back to Turtle Rock.
Probably just open up the big chest there.
Yeah, and then maybe he map wraps to Skullwoods. But he got both items, so this is a low-risk play, because he can get the 2 items in TR and then map wrap and get the crystal, and not really lose that much if he hard locks.
Oh, he's going to open up the front, too. Yeah, that's probably a better way of doing this. But doesn't have enough magic. Oh, no.
Super Bunny Cave is magic.
It does.
I think he just says... He doesn't even have enough magic to use the fire rod? That might be what he's thinking.
Yeah, he doesn't.
So he has to go to Super Bunny Cave. That's... that sucks. Then Super Bunny Cave. Okay, he's just going to do TR in the middle. Maybe he left something in the big chest. Oof. Just for a map.
That is not a feels-good play at all.
prdwong is taking out all his options for... He's got the cane out to do fighter sword damage to Lanmo, and the bow used up all his arrows for an NMG strat. Gets the heart piece and the green pendant out of it. So Krithel is also going that direction. Interesting that he's going in the light world. He's hard committing to this. Almost feels like he might be a little flustered by this, but he has the glove so he can pick up Checkerboard Cave on the way. But I'm surprised he doesn't go into the dark world to do Mire. I think he just really doesn't want to do Mire. I can't blame him since he followed the lamp to GT and ended up finding a bunch of other stuff there instead. Decided the lamp doesn't really matter anymore because a fire rod was available the whole time.
Well, not really following the lamp to GT. Lamp doesn't really unlock anything there.
No, not logically. Just I think the lamp gave him the confidence to at least get a few more checks when he's there because he could do the bomb jump. The Mire makes sense because you can unlock Swamp and not worry about your keys in Hera. But I think he might feel like he has to unlock Hera as well because he doesn't have the hook shot yet.
If he uses his keys right, he should be able to do both.
Ooh, Krithel just skipped down another full magic. Oh, he has the silver, so he'll be fine. Never mind. I forgot those were there too in Ganon's tower.
Well, it would have saved him a couple of seconds on the refill, though.
That's true.
Could have been worthwhile to grab anyway.
I don't know if they were a little out of the way. Oh, that definitely saves time. And having to go for that pot. All right. You're right to call him out for not picking up that magic. I almost wonder if he's doing this also for the magic refill and goes back to Turtle Rock and does the thing he intended to do the first time.
Yeah, opening the front and going through Roller Room.
Sometimes the best way to refill your magic is to kill a boss. And I always love the Barney-colored Lanmo that you get on the Zero Suit Samus Sprite. It's so good. The cape is in here, so if Spike Cape was ever going to come up, which would require a hammer anyway, we don't have to worry about the Cane of Berna. And that's the flippers in Mire, required. So prdwong has found both items in Mire, can skip out on the boss, although he did go for Eastern. He might...
I think he's still going to wind up killing Vidi at some point. I don't think he has the big key, so...
No. He needs the big key to unlock Hera, but he might get the pendant elsewhere. That's an option, too.
That's true. He could do that. That would actually be a really interesting play here, to go ahead and kill Moldorm this way. Yeah, he really needs the big key out of Mire, though, to do that most effectively.
He needs the big key out of Mire, even just, like, he needs to unlock Hera.
Yeah.
You know, you're this far into the seed and you haven't found a hookshot yet. You're either unlocking Hera from what you think is probably the intended way, or you're praying that there's a big key in the basement, and then you're doing the basement, and you don't want to do the basement. Krithel's going back to pod to turn his pendant.
Yeah, Krithel is going to a different basement.
Yes.
That's really interesting here.
He gets bullied by the Moldworms this time. They really are jerks. Sometimes they just get in your way. Both of them weren't letting him dash. This has definitely been a whirlwind of a seed. Both runners finding progression in different spots. Who knows when Krithel will go back to Mire, but I imagine at some point he's going to get forced into it when he needs to unlock Swamp, if nothing else, or he needs to unlock Hera. And the big key is in the worst location. I hate that chest.
But prdwong did use one of his small keys for that.
He's fine. He only needs one.
Yeah,
he doesn't need to unlock. He doesn't need to unlock Hera with the small key. He only needs the big key, and then the small key for Swamp. But if he gets Moldworm pendant, if he gets the Mire pendant from Moldworm, he won't be unlocking Swamp with that key. So if there's an item in Hera basement, he is committing to either skipping Hera basement or coming back to Mire to unlock it.
I mean, he could fall all the way down. He does have the Mire big key, so he could unlock everything he needs to. Just has to fall all the way to the first floor and unlock that door first. Yeah,
and then he just unlocks Swamp from the Swamp key. Because here's our basement clip from Krithel. He's setting up a lamp-controlled Samari bounce using essentially pot spin speed, which it used to be a meme, and now it's in the speedrun, to get spin speed in a spiral staircase. And prdwong is doing the thing we've talked about, falling all the way down to the big key door in Hera. It's the one thing you need the big key for here, besides the chest.
And he is going all the way down, so we are getting the basement unlocked.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do it here, but he'll at least have the key door open.
Yeah, because if he does it here, then he won't be able to mirror out.
Right.
So Krithel is successfully teleported up. What you want to do is teleport up for 1 frame and stop your movement so you don't teleport and keep holding diagonal. That's why he's select buffering it. And now he's using his bow to buffer. He uses Y items to buffer while he still has spin speed. But I think I'm not sure why he continues to use it. I'm sure there's a really good reason for it.
So, interestingly, prdwong opted to not go kill Moldworm to grab that Mire pendant.
Well, he might do it now. He's going back upstairs.
He exited and re-entered Hera.
Oh, he's in Hera state.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sure he's thinking that crystal's more important. I mean, I can't imagine that. And Krithel gets it first try. Look at this.
Well,
what a gamer.
The thing is, like, now he's kind of forcing you. It all depends whether or not he really thinks pedestal is an answer or not.
Yeah, the Eastern play, where he doesn't have to commit to ped, but at this point he has 2 pendants already. But at the same time, also, you definitely need the crystal, and getting back up here is another walk, and that sucks. I think maybe he feels emboldened by the flippers. It's like, well, I found progression here. I don't need to worry about ped anymore. And not only did he find progression, but it was locked behind the lamp that he found in Eastern. So he probably feels like Eastern mattered for the item he found inside. Doesn't know that there's another fire source available. So I'm imagining he's going to hard follow those flippers. He could go into Ice, but that's missing Hammer. He can go into Swamp, but that's missing Hookshot. Those are the 2 things the flippers unlock. And the big key was on Moldworm. So it was confirmed Mire locked. But it was not the Hookshot upstairs. However, I don't think we saw the second item, and there's still a big key chest. Did he open that?
He did not open the big chest when he was going through.
Oh.
He fell all the way down.
I feel like he should have, but maybe he has.
He can open it here when he's going through for Swamp.
So that's true.
A big deal.
He's gonna go unlock Swamp. That makes sense. I didn't think about that option.
But it's also good because he can then use those flippers to open the Swamp big chest if he really wants to. And not have to worry about finding the Swamp big key anywhere.
Yeah, because he didn't eat the Hera key in Mire state. So he has it in Hera state now and can do it that way. That route actually makes sense. If you're missing Hookshot, you can do left side first in Hera state. And that corrects your tile set so you can exit the dungeon if you do find the Hookshot. Krithel is going back to east of the mountain. What is he doing from here?
This could be the roller room chests up at the front of TR.
And
I'm blocking it because
right. The thing he was doing earlier before he started killing bosses.
Yeah, the best thing for Krithel to find here would be Ice Rod in there.
Oh, why is he opening that? Oh, I think he just pressed A, trying to dash and accidentally picked up the rock. Okay, so now he's had a rematch with the Bombos icon. Now he can actually use it. prdwong using the classic bomb clip teleport.
It is the worst bomb clip.
Yeah, I call it classic, but there's an even older method using just one frame clipping, and that sucks even more.
It's good to have that kind of a skill down anyway, but yeah, the Hera Swamp bomb clip is the worst one by far.
So count your Hera ascents, because prdwong has no hammer and had to go into Swamp just to flood it and then mirror out. So he's going to climb Hera again. This is why Hookless Swamp is so bad in HMG. It's not necessarily because of, you're doing Hookless Swamp, but also because having to climb Hera multiple times is pretty terrible. And speaking of Hookless, Krithel is doing the long way around for Turtle Rock torches. This is our first glimpse at these items. He's doing a great job pairing these out-of-the-way checks with crystals, even if it requires some terrifying tech. Because the thing he's going to do next is going to have a hard lock potential. It won't matter if he doesn't find progression here. It's not really a loss. So we get a small key and a small key. I wonder if he had a way of knowing those were there.
Possibly, because the only thing that's left in Turtle Rock would be the Trinex item.
I don't know if I would have successfully... Is it okay to have swimming there? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not used to having flippers for that.
Well, you're essentially fake flippering the transition.
I see. Wow, he does it with such confidence.
Yeah, just don't nudge right. That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Easy every time. It's safe. You just don't press right.
Well, don't nudge.
So prdwong gets the stair thing because he double dip swamp. So when I'm starting to have more confidence in saying this, that this happens when you're doing hammerless swamp, because you are reloading the super tile that has the water flooded, and it resets the properties of the staircase that you normally diver down into. You can feel free to correct me on this, as it's all conjecture based on what I've seen throughout the tournament.
The main conjecture I've seen with it is it has to do something with the diver down, yeah.
Because it doesn't happen when people are single dipping swamp. I only see it happen when people are doing hammerless swamp or double dipping it for another reason, and then also diver down for the key. Nice moth. Staying at the top, not giving him very many openings, but he is getting another crystal out of it. So what does he do next? He does need to go to Mire at some point, but if the hookshot isn't here, then there could be other progression for him somewhere else. We've run out of things that the fire rod unlocks.
We haven't seen the...
Back of Escape? Oh, he should go to Back of Escape. I know that's not where he's going now, but...
I thought he already did.
Oh, did he? Okay,
yeah.
Fair enough. That's a really quick check. Easy to miss. And we know that one of the things there was the small key, so probably didn't have anything of consequence. So I think he's doing Mire's super jump now. I don't think there's anywhere else to go from here. This might even be last location for him. I wonder if he feels bad about it, or if he recognizes that you could go there first and find something that leads you away from the fire rod that he found in GT. And even though he's last locationing, he's still making a ton of progress in the meantime.
Right, at least getting Skullwoods out of the way there.
He is a couple dungeons ahead of prdwong. That's a good point. Muffins in chat saying he has a much better sword for these dungeons. It's going to speed him up slightly, make things a little safer. I wonder if he opts for the same thing that prdwong did, where you unlock Hera and also unlock the small key door in Hera, and then come back for that later.
Nice use of red boomerang there.
Yeah, getting the crystal switch on the back swing. All right, nice Mire 2 from Krithel. He's gonna... Ooh, he has the opportunity to get some magic here. Very good. I love it when the rupee pack enemies have magic. It's so nice. The only thing it doesn't really help in is in GT, because you don't get those enemies in GT.
That's fine. You just get the other drop pack that has the big magic on
Yeah.
on the other.
The variety pack enemies have fairies. That's a
Yeah.
dream. I love that in Gauntlet. It's the best. Every enemy just dropping full magics and fairies the whole time.
Sadly, that's not the case in this seed.
And in vanilla. Any percent RNG would be so much easier if it was. So, prdwong is doing Swamp and has one check left for the hook shot. So we'll see. One benefit of doing Swamp in Hero State, if he were to do that, is he could guarantee opening the big chest. So if like Ice Rod is there or something, he'd be in go mode a little bit sooner. But if the big key is in the left side, then he gets the hook shot before left side. And that would be interesting too. But that would be pretty rare for that to happen. And it's a small key. Didn't find anything in Swamp. So is it Ice Palace?
Probably. No, he does. He is right here at Swamp from reloading the dungeon earlier. A little bit flustered, it seems.
Yeah. He has a shovel, so I think that's where he's going next. So I don't want to say nothing in Swamp until he checks that, but... Oh, Krithel has a much easier time with the fire rod in this room. That speeds him up considerably. Yeah, if the Swamp Big Chest if the Swamp Big Key is not available in the front of Swamp, then the Swamp Big Chest is non-logic without the hook shot. So you're not supposed to bring keys to open chests. You're only supposed to bring keys into dungeons to open doors.
Yeah, opening chests is not supposed to happen when you're between dungeons.
Did Krithel pick up the flippers? He did, right?
They were in the spike chest, weren't they? Yeah.
I feel like he would have, but they're not in his trackers. I'm not certain if it just got eaten by the click or whatever.
Maybe he went for the...
That's fair. It's easy when somebody is in a dungeon you've already seen, too. He's acting like he has them, because he's skipping chests. Wait, he needs the big key.
Yeah. So he still has to go over
Oh, this
to
is just... Yeah, this is just faster. I see. Oh, where's he going?
Now he's getting the flippers.
Huh. What is this route? No, he's going to...
No, he's got the bomb. Okay,
he got the big key, right?
No, he didn't, because the big key was next to the big chest.
Unless he did that chest first. Some people do that. I guess we'll find out. Maybe he's just opening Swamp and doesn't care about Hera.
Okay, so prdwong just checked pedestal to make sure whether or not he's got to go kill Vidi.
Yeah.
Finds out no.
Oh, he's thinking, oh shoot, I didn't bring the big key, I think that's what he's thinking. Ooh. Krithel has no reason to kill
Moldorm here, no.
Actually, here's something he could do. He could kill Moldorm for the big key.
He can.
Maybe he'll do it. No, he's just going to go to Swamp. That would be something. So he's going to do the same hookless Swamp, or he'll just unlock it. I don't think he has anything left, though, except ice. prdwong is now making his play into GT. This is not last location, but it's close to it. He still has Ice Palace available with the flippers.
But that's not a good Ice Palace. You're still lacking Hammer, but at this point, it may very well be there.
Krithel is taking his key straight into Mire, into Swamp, and unlocking it. Also unlocking this door. Thinking if the big key is here, he unlocks... He gets the big key for Mire, and he... Yeah, I don't know. I'm just curious what his plan is for the contingency of hookshot on Moldorm.
Yeah, because that was one thing that is really bugging me about this. Because it makes it very hard to get back to the top of Hera.
I don't think it is, though. Like, I don't think that's going to be a problem for him.
Yeah,
his contingency is to go back in and get the big key? Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So he's just doing 2 trips, one to unlock Hera and one to unlock Swamp. Maybe he just doesn't want to do Hookless Swamp, or maybe he's just doing the same thing in a different order. This is a tough tough puzzle to solve. There's so many different ways you could do this route, and the meta has not had enough time to develop where we actually know which one is optimal. So people usually exercise their style when they play, and that's always fun to watch.
Yeah, it's usually best to go with your gut if you're unsure about anything. What is your first instinct on it?
Where is he going?
Ooh.
Oh, he's changing his mind.
That was the big key. Could have used that.
Well, no, so he doesn't have an option for Hera, but oh, he's having a crisis. Oh no.
Grumbling noises.
Yeah. He has options still. He could go to Ice Palace.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think there is something there. I don't think we have anything left, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Hera Basement.
Hera Basement. What if that's the hook shot?
Oh, man.
He's thinking, oh, Hera Basement might just be the big key, so I'll just go in there. And if not, I'll super jump again. Because that would suck, having to unlock Hera from Swamp or from Mire if you've already been to Mire and left.
And there's an item in the big chest of Hera too, isn't there?
Did we see it on prdwong's side?
We must have, because we found no items at the first couple of chests. Moldorm had the big key, and the compass, I believe, was south of big chest. So there is an item in the big chest, which I would not be feeling good if I were Krithel right now.
They're both items, I see.
Yeah.
And prdwong is quickly catching up. Because Krithel has a couple dungeons done, but prdwong also has Hera. And Hera is looking to be tough, unless Hookshot just shows up somewhere they go, and that's going to have to be Ice Palace, I think. Or here, right where Krithel is. He could get super bailed out by a Hookshot here, but it's just bombs. We saw the shovel on prdwong's side. The shovel was just 10 rupees, 20 rupees.
I thought that was a hard reset. I mean, what door are you planning on using that Hera key for?
That's a good point. I don't know. I think it's habit. When you do Hera Basement and HMG, you just hard reset after. It's the thing you do. So he's going back to Mire, I think, to unlock Hera. He's thinking Hookshot is there, and Hookshot might be in Swamp as well. He doesn't have the option to do Swamp until he unfloods it from Hera, so he still has to do that. Yeah, I think he could have bailed himself out by killing Moldorm for the big key in Mire State. But I don't think he was thinking in those terms.
Really, both of our runners could have bailed out themselves with a couple of things. Like, prdwong wouldn't have had to check pedestal. Well, prdwong still would have probably pulled pedestal, but wouldn't have had to pull out the book for it.
Oh, I'm being told that it was the shovel that was upstairs in Hera. So,
okay, yeah.
Where's prdwong going? Oh, Hera Basement, of course. They're both running out of checks. It's Ice Palace. Nobody wants to go there, so.
Yeah, nobody.
Correct me if there's somewhere else. And Krithel is actually going there, and that's really good for him because we know there's something there. He doesn't, but he knows also that if it's in Hera or Swamp, he's lost. So he's making I want to say, like, the correct metagame play of following through with his route. And also taking advantage of that early GT play, giving him the glove. So that if he finds the hammer in here, then he'll be able to complete it. If he finds the hook shot, he'll have a free ride back to Hera. So he's doing key steal. This is what you do when you don't have a hammer or a glove. You steal a key and you mirror out, and then you clip, and now you have an extra key to guarantee that you can diver down and not get yourself locked in.
The icebreaker, not diver down, but yeah.
Sorry, yes, thank you. Oh, his bomb count is a little low. He recognized these are on the bomb pack. I'm going to kill one more just in case. With the icebreaker route, he won't need that many bombs, but it's good to have them for, like, the Pangator room, for example. He'll want one bomb for that. And he'll want a bomb for the big chest because he didn't have the hook shot. He has to be a little careful with his bomb count. Maybe kill some more Baris in the way.
Okay,
These enemies are dropping arrows, so that's not going to help him.
Alright, so now prdwong is going to be heading over towards the roller room in Turtle Rock here.
I'm wondering if prdwong has also not counted his keys. I would have made the same mistake. Like, keep counting TR.
Nobody really counts keys in TR.
And you going in here multiple times, nobody's gonna remember between trips unless they're really invested in key counting. And some people are. Some people are just prodigies at it, and I don't understand how they can do that and still play the game. So what is Krithel going to find in Ice Palace?
It's got to be something.
Picking up some more bombs along the way, very smart. Going this way will save him a bomb because he can go straight from Ice Tea to the freezer room and not have to bomb twice. Yep, prdwong's getting the keys as well. It's at least they're both doing it, right?
Yeah, really the only thing that's been saved from either runner is Krithel didn't have to do the back of Eastern.
Hookshot is here, so Krithel doesn't have to feel bad about Mire anymore, except for the little bit of time he spent waffling around, figuring out what to do. Hookshot is good, and he can do Swamp now. He still needs the Ice Rod and Hammer for the rest of the seed, though.
Yeah, the peace of mind, however, is not to be understated in terms of how well that can help your gameplay from here on out.
And from his perspective, he's probably thinking Hammer is just in Swamp, and if it's in the front, then you have to double dip one of them, and you could have done Swamp first and been bailed out by the Hammer and single dipped Ice, or you could have done Ice first and gotten the Hookshot and single dipped Swamp. So for him, it's probably thinking of a zero-sum game, but like we know that the Hammer wasn't in the front of Swamp, so this is actually really good for Krithel.
And we found all 3 items out of Ice Palace. No Hammer, but Ice Palace is pretty quick to clear once you're ready to go with it. You don't have to check anything any further. And
if Krithel doesn't find Go Mode in Swamp, he'll have a nice route to the shovel after, just like prdwong did.
Meanwhile, prdwong is going to try some Hookshot Cave hovering.
Or just bonk. At this point, he's missing only 3 items, and yeah, I don't think he hovers. The reason I say that is because he Moldorm bounces, and most people who can hover don't bother learning that.
Instead, we're going to see... Oh, Catfish! prdwong never did Catfish.
So Krithel...
Turtle Rock from there.
Krithel skipping an item in Hera. Unless he Hera pots again. Because you have 2 options. You can go back in and Hera pot for the big chest, or you can drop down the middle hole and check that and then go back up for the crystal. I don't know which one is faster. He's deciding that Hera pot is faster, probably on the basis that he's good at it. And I always drop down because I'm bad at Hera pot. I guess it makes sense. Play to your strengths. prdwong only recently got the glove, so he's doing these glove checks now. His checkerboard cave is really orphaned, but we know there's nothing there, so he's not going to be punished by it. Yeah, so Hookshot was in Ice Palace. Looks like we were required to go in there without the Hammer, and probably Hookshot is locking the Hammer in back of Swamp, because I don't see anywhere else it could be at this point, because we've already seen front of Swamp on prdwong's side. Krithel is showing the newer method of getting into Swamp using a dash clip. A lot of the newer glitch runners find that easier because it doesn't require as many buffers. I mean, it does require some 1-frame buffers, but you're already select buffering, so you don't have to worry about bomb positioning or anything like that. Ganon's Tower Big Key does appear to be hammer locked. We didn't see either runner attempt the climb, and I know both of them are capable of Moldorm skips.
That and they didn't even go for the big chest after killing, before or after killing Ice Armos, so there is no chance that we missed it. Okay, so prdwong is actually going for the going into Ice Palace now, opting to go for the bomb clip out of this little hammer-locked area.
So both runners are going to converge. I think they've taken different paths, but not really fallen behind one or the other. I would say Krithel has a slight lead just based on the number of crystals he has completed.
Also because Krithel's already in Swamp with the hook shot, whereas prdwong still has to go get it.
Yeah, and if Krithel finds go mode in back of swamp, then he's golden, can skip left side. But if he finds something like the hammer but doesn't find the ice rod and has to go back for left side Ganon's tower, for example, then he might go back into left side. He also might not. prdwong is having a little trouble with the Mire app. He's finding himself having to line up manually, which is a little hard when you have this graphical messed up that happens when you transition near a split screen. So losing a small amount of time to that, but the grand scheme of things, those things tend to happen to both runners and don't really matter as much as it might feel like when you're playing.
Yeah, nobody has perfect execution.
Yeah, nobody except your opponent. Your opponent always has perfect execution in your mind, but that's not actually true.
Okay, so prdwong did not steal the big key from the blue berry at the front, so that might change how he has to route Ice Palace here. I mean, he does get bailed out by the Pengator key to be able to continue after Icebreaker here. Nah, I think he'll be alright. That second small key, I think, fixes it for him. Alright, back of swamp does have our hammer, so now we can finally start clearing a bunch of dungeons. Finish off Ice Palace, finish off GT.
Aren't you glad that this was our last HMG race?
What a
This
mess.
could have been a boring seed, and it wasn't.
Yeah, this one is just such a mess. There's none of the options that you're supposed to do feel good.
Yeah, go to GT with nothing. Go to Hammerless Eye so that you could get the hookshot for Swamp, or go to Hookless Swamp for nothing.
Go to Pendant Mire to fire into your flippers so you can get into Ice Palace to find your hooked.
Yeah, and while you're in there, because you haven't gotten the hammer or the hookshot yet, feel compelled to unlock Hera from Mire. We've seen it all. So, no small mercy for Krithel finding the Ice Rod here. He's going to have to keep looking. So he might go back into left side, or he might follow the hammer straight to Ganon's tower, which is one of the few locations that hammer unlocks. I think from him, he can do that into hammer pegs, and that will cover most of his bases. And he says no to left side swamp, so he's going to finish up Ice Palace. As long as he doesn't hardlock here, he looks like he has a bit of a lead. Yeah, he's very careful with his Mire apps. So we don't have to hold our breath for that one. I would argue that Krithel's in the lead just because he has done more crystal dungeons than prdwong has.
Yeah, with Helmasaur being dead, with Mothula being dead, and Argus being dead. Yeah, three crystal bosses being dead. That's a pretty significant lead here at this point.
And the only checks prdwong has done that Krithel hasn't, I think, are left side swamp and shovel. And they're not the Ice Rod. They could have been the Ice Rod, and that would have been bad for Krithel, but that was a different seed, and this is not that seed. So it looks like it's working out well for Krithel. If he goes into Ganon's tower, he will almost certainly find the Ice Rod there. If not, then he'll go into Hammer Pegs. If it's not there, then it's somewhere stupid like Mimic Cave or Spike Cave.
But we've got the equipment to take care of those anyway.
Yeah, and I think he'll remember this time. I think usually those things tend to sit fresh on your mind, as we saw prdwong checking Lumberjack earlier in the seed. Oh, there was an item in here. So we opened all the checks that we could get to. I think that's what happened. And that's why he mirrored out. But it wasn't the ice rod. Oh, the big key is here. What if the ice palace or the swamp palace big chest has something? Oh no. I totally missed the big key being available in swamp.
I haven't been keeping track of where we found the map or compass in
I think,
swamp here.
I want to say left side swamp was
Yeah,
two
left
dungeon
side
items.
had one of them.
Left side had the map and the small key or something like that.
Yes, I think that's correct.
But I don't know where the other one was. Okay, Ganon's tower is sudden density, breath of fresh air for Krithel. He hasn't seen density in years, so I'm sure he's glad to go back here. Knowing that he has to find the big key anyway, it doesn't even feel like a waste of time.
Can also hit Spike Cave along the way.
Yep. And he almost certainly will have that on his mind. Skipping Spike Cave by accident lost in the race last time in the first game, and he turns up and does Spike Cave, so very good. prdwong trailing a little behind, still has to go back to Ice Palace and Pod and Skullwoods. This is actually looking a little dire for prdwong unless he goes back into Swamp. I don't think... No, he's not doing it, so even if there is something in the big chest, it doesn't matter. Neither runner will come back for it anytime soon. But he's doing the same thing Krithel's doing, just going for that density. I think he could have done Ice Palace, but from his perspective, he has an active flute, and if there is mitts, then he could very easily flute back and do Ice Palace at the end. Also a good point from Coherent. If there was something in the big chest, he had already done left side, so it would have made sense to turn around and check it, whereas for Krithel, he didn't, so he had the incentive to leave it for a later check of left side.
Well, considering that if left side had 2 dungeon items in it that we know of, if we never found the third, then if they were counting properly, they would know that it has nothing anyway. Yeah,
or even if they were, like Krithel's counting, he says there's only one thing there, he's not going to go for it when he has all of Ganon's tower. What are the odds? If you do that, you're also doing shovel, and you're playing to your opponent who may have done swamp first, and giving up any lead you might have gained by not doing left side.
prdwong did turn in the green pendant. It didn't hold anything, obviously.
I think Krithel probably did too, because he went to Pod to finish up Helmasaur, and probably would have turned in green pendant at the same time. And there's Big Key, but he needs to keep going because he's still looking for Ice Rod. Both runners in the same room, but several dungeons apart, so not as close as it might look. prdwong having a little trouble with the cane strat. I wonder if he knows he has a blue boomerang.
That could be something he just doesn't keep track of.
Most people will find one boomerang and not bother tracking the other, because most of that tracking is just for menuing purposes. And there it is, Krithel's in go mode. So Krithel is a very solid lead now. All he has to do is kill Aga 2 and Trinex, and then he'll be done and ready to fight Ganon. And prdwong has to... Well, he's in go mode too, but he still has to do all these dungeons. So the lead is pretty clear, given that they're almost in the same room. I think prdwong is calculating whether it's faster to do those dungeons first and then climb, and decided
if
to
it's
just
an
climb.
advantage, it's marginal. Because the difference between walking to Ganon and clipping into GT again, it's probably about the same depending on which dungeon you finish with.
Oh, prdwong has an arrow situation, but he gets 5 from this pot, which do tend to despawn if you're not careful. Krithel's a little low on arrows too, but he has enough for Ganon, and that's what counts. prdwong still has to do pod.
trying to think, what actually lost prdwong so much time on this?
He did Pendant East, well, Left Side Swamp and Pendant Boss, potentially. Spent more time without the items that Krithel found in GT, and that slowed him down. So
Yeah.
like having the Tempered Sword really early compared to prdwong was on Fighter Sword the whole time. Those little things make a difference.
Yeah, and then Fire Rod versus Lamp for the Mire Torch Room.
Yeah, it was a death by 1,000 cuts. I don't think it was any one decision. It just didn't work out for him. And then also Krithel being able to route Helmasaur kill with turning in the green pendant. And basement clip is optimal if you can pull it off the first try, which he did. So he actually saved time doing basement clip than prdwong would have done doing normal basement. And then all the little things that Krithel did that last time, prdwong also did. So like doing the Firelock chest in TR that had small keys, prdwong did those too. And he also got the map out of the big chest.
And then same thing with checking Pedestal.
Wow, look at the sync going into Torches 1. prdwong will have a slightly faster Torches 1, having the Fire Rod out. Krithel has to use the lamp, doesn't have enough magic to use Fire Rod. He could have done that one, but I think he decided at this point he's already set up for lamp strats, might as well just do all 4 and dash out. So prdwong gains a slightly even gauntlet. We can pretend they're close for a few seconds. It's more fun that way.
Well, there's nothing that our runners are going to open from here on out. We've got silvers, we've got red mail, we've got tempered, we've got pretty much everything but half magic as far as niceties go. Half
magic, butter sword, both things that you find just so you don't have to try. But don't actually.
You should have grabbed that top right pot. It has arrows.
I didn't even know there was a top right pot until someone told me.
Yeah, I think it was just the other day, right?
Yeah, we were in the voice chat, and I had to open up the practice hat because I didn't believe that there were more than 2 pots in that room. It's like that's the heart and the magic and nothing else, right?
Well, no, there's another heart. There's some rupees. There's some arrows.
Krithel gained time on prdwong somewhere. Where was that?
Probably in that room with the last chest there before Moldorm. prdwong's was a little slow in getting it down to the door.
This sync is incredible. Can we talk about this? I wish the race is actually this close because this would have been an incredible end of the finals. I mean, it still is. The seed certainly delivered. We get to see how they handle Aga. prdwong gets 1 and Krithel gets 0. They both get disgusting patterns. And the blue ball just doomed both of them from the start. Sometimes you set up for a hit and count on it being an orange ball and gets another blue ball. I haven't seen a bad Aga like this in a long time. Rewarded with the triples. A prdwong is ahead on balls. And we'll probably finish up Aga and... Oh, not quite.
Ooh, same number of cycles here?
I think prdwong is still ahead. Nope.
Nope, they were tied.
Wow. Look at this. Look, those patterns were not setting them up for success. I cannot fault either runner for getting multiple cycles. That's... Yeah, at least in a race, in a random race, you know that your opponent is getting the same patterns. prdwong landing just a few frames ahead of Krithel. Has decided to mirror and flute. Krithel doesn't have the flute, so he's going to just save and put to the mountain. Finish off Trinex as his last boss, and then do Ganon. And prdwong will do Trinex into Skullwoods, and then have to finish up Pod as well, and also Ice. So this is a hefty lead for Krithel. It is hard to imagine how he got so far ahead. Like, I can see 1 or 2 dungeons, but this is a lot of dungeons that prdwong has to do.
And now Krithel is pulled ahead.
Yep.
And in the race to Trinex.
Did Krithel have a better mirror up, or was it the save and quit versus the mirror and flute? Mirror and flute should be faster.
It was a better mirror wrap, just because prdwong did have to walk down to reach the mirror wrap spot that he wanted to use.
Both of them doing pirouettes on the way up, as is customary. Krithel going for backdoor strats, prdwong going for front door. Backdoor strats are optimal, so if you want to pretend this is close, then you can cheer on Krithel. prdwong gets an extra cycle. It's really hard to get one cycle in front door. You can do it, it's just hard. Backdoor strats are a little bit more consistent if you can pull it off. I highly recommend learning it, by the way. It's not actually harder.
prdwong does get a better phase 2 out of it, though, killing Moldorm much lower. Or, not Moldorm, Trinex.
And Krithel gets a arrow for his efforts, and prdwong gets an arrow that actually matters a little bit more for him because he still has to do pod. There's something about going through all of that, and your last boss gives you the single arrow. It's a poetic end to a seed and a tournament. Krithel is taking the optimal path to Ganon and decides that he doesn't want to mess with softlock. He actually softlocked there, so it makes sense. He timed this himself. It is faster to map wrap to Skull Woods and backtrack and then river clip to Ganon than it is to save and quit. In case you're wondering why he did that. It's a shame that he didn't pull it off, but at the same time, it would be unwise to try and continue from that position. I think it wouldn't even work. Fifth try, hook dash. Still the hardest glitch in the game. Pressing two buttons at the same time.
The only thing that's harder is getting spin speed every time.
Oh yeah, pressing one button and the next one on the same frame.
Next frame, but yes.
Oh yeah, that's what I meant to say, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I say the same frame on the next frame? I feel like I said something like that.
No, I think you only said same frame.
Alright, so Krithel is setting up for a 1-on-1. Decides to tank the fire blast rather than mess with the hook shot. He recognizes, I think he has a fairy still and doesn't have to worry about like accidentally hooking the torch, which can mess up your 1-on-1.
Poor prdwong not getting the best moth. Taking a bunch of damage from all the spikes and everything.
Oh, gets a nice cheeky little double there, right against the torch, and then freezes him in place. Wow, this Ganon patterns are really favorable for him. Look at that.
He gets to keep him all the way down at the bottom the entire time.
Poor Ganon didn't even have a chance. And that's GG's for Krithel. Has taken not only this game, but the entire tournament. Give him a huge shout out. This has been a great show for the last few months.
Yeah, and even this this last match between these two was a pretty weird back and forth, and wild at that.
Yeah, it was interesting. Interesting to see both runners being forced into uncomfortable situations and handling it in their own styles, which is always fun to see. prdwong has indeed forfeit and given his GGs to Krithel. So they'll be joining us in chat very shortly.
Congratulations, Krithel.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so you're the tournament winner. How does that feel?
Whoa.
Whoa, heart pounding, knees weak, palms sweaty.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough going.
Yeah, that seed definitely made you work for it. And the whole series made you work for it. Like going to game 3 never feels comfortable, right?
Yeah.
coming in from behind.
Yeah, it certainly. It was always going to be interesting, and spending like an hour in that seat not finding anything was pretty brutal.
Was there
Yeah,
any point where you felt like it turned around in your favor?
Like the only thing I really got to skip was Left Side Swamp, which was good. It probably made up for the mess I made in Mire. But
Yeah.
no, it never felt good at any point.
And there was, a world where the hammer was in the front of Swamp, and you could have made either decision and been fine for it, but the seed definitely favored going into Ice. So that little mistake you made in Mire actually saved you from going into the wrong dungeon first. GG's prdwong,
GG.
taking second place in the tournament.
Yeah, this seed was just a mess overall. None of the decisions felt like they really led to anything.
At least it
Felt
was
very
interesting, right?
disjointed.
It wasn't just skip one location and get screwed. It was you had to make some real hard choices, and all of them, most of them gave you something. Like if you went into GT with nothing, you got Fire Rod and so on. If you go into Ice Palace without the hammer, then you get rewarded with the hook shot. You had to go Independent Mire. There's a lot. Your first fire source in Eastern if you didn't do GT, leading you to go into Mire.
Yeah, and dipping pod without hammer, so you could find your ether.
Oh yeah, Ether was in there too, wasn't it? Wow.
Yeah, ether was in pod, and you didn't have a fire source yet, so...
That was a hot mess. That seed was just... I mean, I'm glad that the seed made the finalists work for it. Yeah, that wasn't just too easy. Because, you guys have learned a lot in this tournament, and even with their vast experience, have still advanced the meta of hybrid major glitches throughout the month and got to show off the different routing skills that you've gained and also some of the execution skills. Nice to see one more hammer jump or basement clip at the end, even though it wasn't necessarily necessary. It was nice to see.
No, it was just a cute little routing for Green Pendant more than anything.
Yeah, because you didn't have
we
your
were-
flute active.
Yeah, we were thinking it was more just to, do that while you give yourself time to think about what to do next, because that was one of those positions where there wasn't much left that you really could do.
The idea that you can think about anything while doing that clip is...
Well, it's not necessarily the clip itself, but between fighting Helmasaur and going through the various animations and even getting to that room gives you time to think.
Yeah, another thing that mattered a little bit, I think, for you, Krithel, was that you checked Ped and got to skip Armos, and prdwong actually went for it because his next plan was to do Mire and Desert.
Yeah.
If
So
I'm not
actually,
mistaken.
On that similar note, prdwong, we think you could have actually done it so that you got the Mire pendant off of Moldorm, and instead of checking Ped or only looking at what the item was through the book, you could have actually pulled it too, without having to redip Mire.
Yeah, I considered that, but after I unlocked all the doors in Hera, I was like, I don't really want to climb all the way back up, so I decided to just leave it and just follow on the flippers instead.
Yeah, we figured
Ped
as
was
much.
like a lower chance probability.
If you had the hook shot, it would have made sense, but I think having to climb Hera twice just for a pendant, if you were about to check Ped and you had the book, and you knew that there was a pendant upstairs in Hera, you would have just gone for it if Ped had something. So yeah, that's it for the tournament. I've been asking this question for anyone who gets eliminated, but since both of you are finishing this out in first and second place, it's hard to say that you're being eliminated, but the whole tournament is, and there's a lot more on the horizon for playing Glitched. The first No Logic daily race is going to be next week on SpeedGaming, so they've added a daily race on Thursday, and we've convinced them to put No Logic. So tune in for that. That's going to be at 11 p.m. Eastern. And hopefully that will continue as a trend of just regular glitch races in SpeedGaming. I think we have brought this to a much greater audience and encouraged people to pick up the mode themselves. It's not that hard to learn. You don't have to jump into the deep end. You can start with overworld glitches, give yourself an assured sword, making it a little easier to learn the clips. There's a ton of resources out there too if you want to learn yourself. You don't have to necessarily be taught by somebody, but you can always go into Discord and ask as well.
Yeah, there's always someone around to help you with whatever questions you've got.
And next year, we do plan on running another glitch tournament, and most likely that will be No Logic, probably being run by Tajsto himself. So
Yeah,
keep
that's
an eye
gonna
on
be
that.
fun.
Keep an eye on that as well. I'm going to see if I can get you those permissions in Discord so you can start organizing that when you're ready to.
Ew.
I mean, you don't have to start now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's there when you
get
need
some
it.
time to breathe between tournaments here.
Yes. Don't be surprised if I drop a stream layout on you next month.
We're gonna have to find something interesting to put there, because this one was actually pretty fun. The whole you had made this one before the qualifiers and everything with the cave state pod and how everything got framed really nicely, and then I gave you the little swordless sword up link to put on the mat there.
Yeah. I like the idea of falling rainbow link that prdwong has in his avatar. Might steal that idea.
Oh yeah, the falling link state.
That's
glitch.
so good.
Yeah. Falling link state is so good. But yeah, so now that the tournament is done, do you guys think you're still gonna keep playing HMG, or are you gonna move on to No Logic or other speedruns or something like that?
I certainly think I'll branch out. I'm not done with HMG. It's a very fun mode. It's there's enough there over overall glitches that a lot still to think about. So yeah, I think the async glitched monthlies are actually really good because there's variety there. So certainly be keeping up with those.
Probably not for me. I had enough of it during the tournament, and this season doesn't make me want to play it anymore.
Well, there's always No Logic. I'm prepared for the next tournament. I know you're a big No Logic nut.
Yeah, I think between overall glitch and No Logic, I think those scratch my itch better than this one.
So if you do want to get back into glitch modes for anybody who is playing, we do run a weekly race that we have solidified a new schedule for to account for more time zones. They're going to be on Wednesdays, and every other one will be at 2 p.m. Eastern or 10:30 Eastern. And the first 2 Wednesdays will be overworld glitches, and the last 2 Wednesdays will be hybrid major glitches. And then if there is a 5th Wednesday, we'll decide if we want to do something fun like No Logic. Those will start. We can start next week if you want. Next week, I don't know what Wednesday count that is, but it'll be one of them, and we'll just follow the schedule as is. All you have to do is, look for that ping in Discord, and the race room will be open. You can just join in.
And then on top of that, as Krithel mentioned earlier, there are the glitched async monthlies, where we get Malmo actually generates a handful of seeds of various, modes, including overworld glitches, hybrid major glitches, and No Logic, and some interesting variations even in between those.
I use them as a test bed for experimental modes like no moon pearl major glitches, and
which kind of
like
is
that.
what helped birth this into being.
Yeah, it's the opposite. Because the reason we wanted to, the reason we haven't had a major glitches tournament yet is because moon pearl location is so swingy, and you find it early, you just get a huge advantage. It's like boots squared. So we thought, well, let's just force the moon pearl into most of the overall glitch spots so that you can at least deduce where it is and not just have it randomly be somewhere in the world. And then the other option is to just remove the moon pearl so nobody gets it. Everybody has to go slow. So no moon pearl is also an option. I don't think it's going to be tournament material, but it is a little bit more raceable than normal major glitches.
Yeah, we're really happy with how this tournament turned out overall, between the participation and, of course, the restreams thanks to SpeedGaming. So this has been a great time for everyone involved, I believe.
All right.
It was a fun tournament. I mean, I think it was really lucky for me to make it this far. I feel like throughout most of the brackets, I was the underdog in most of my matchups.
I think everybody felt like they were the underdog, let's be honest.
Yep.
This is a pretty stacked tournament.
And it's also not an easy mode to wrap your head around sometimes, as the seed is clearly evidence.
So yeah, I think I've said what I want to say about this tournament. Thanks especially to SpeedGaming for taking care of us throughout it. I mean, they have been bending over backwards to get these restreams on, even at the last minute, making changes to make sure that we have channels open, that we have volunteers available, even pinging for trackers when we can't find one. And also for all the people who did volunteer to comm track our races and the people who played. I want to give a big thank you to those people as well.
So with that, I believe we are pretty much done here, so we'll hopefully see you at the next Glitch tournament, or on other tournaments for Link to the Past Randomizer anyway. I believe there's a few that are going on. I don't know which ones anymore. I've fallen so out of track with it. But I guess we will catch you all next time.